Have you ever imagined how far some people can go to achieve what they want? This pregnant girl was killed. She was strangled to death and her belly cut open just for them to steal her baby. This evil act was carried out by a woman and her daughter who pretended to be her friends. Her name is Marlene Ochoa. She was born on November 16, 1999. Her mother's name is Raquel and her father's name Almanfo Ochoa. When she was very young, her family relocated from Mexico to Chicago in search of greener pastures. According to her family, they say that Marlene was a very beautiful and a lively girl who was always seen smiling, lively, and have a very positive outlook on life. She dreamt of being a singer or a fashion designer. After she turned 15, Marlene met a young guy named Giovanni Lopez and they both fell in love. 1 year into their relationship, Marlene discovered she was pregnant and gave birth to their son named Joshua.
Some months after the birth of their son, Marlene and Giovanni got married. Marlene was so determined to fulfill her dreams of becoming what she wanted to be, so she went back to school to complete her studies. In 2017, Marlene discovered she was pregnant with her second child. She was so excited and at the same time worried on how she was going to cope with taking care of 2 children and going to school. So she decided to search on social media with support groups that can teach her on how to adjust. On Facebook, Marlene found a group called Help a Sister Out. This group was created with the aim of helping and supporting young pregnant and expectant moms. She joined the group and there she met a 46-year-old woman named Clarissa Figure. Clarissa had 2 adult children named Desiree, who was 24 years old, and Zenda, who was 20. In early 2018, Zenda died of natural cause, leaving her mother Clarissa devastated and heartbroken. A few months around October 2018, Clarissa also joined this group called Help a Sister Out. But before she joined, she announced to her family and friends that she was pregnant.
This news of her being pregnant came as a shock to her family and friends. She knew that she tied her tubes some years back. One of her friends even asked her how possible it was for her to get pregnant with her tubes tied, and she replied that she untied them during an emergency appendicitis operation.
Clarissa also disclosed to this her friend that she would be due in May. She celebrated this her pregnancy both online and offline, and was always posting pictures of ultrasound with a baby's name called Zenda. Clarissa went over to the Facebook group and made a post where she asked if there was any pregnant mom that would be due in May. And some weeks later, Marlene posted on the same group where she told people that she would be due May 10th but needs some help with getting her baby stuffs because she wasn't able to work because of school. Clarissa replied to her post and promised to give her some baby's clothes. This excited Marlene so much, so they started texting and talking. Later, they arranged that Marlene would come over to Clarissa's place to get the baby's clothes, and she agreed. So around April 1st, Clarissa approached her daughter Desiree, asking if she would be willing to help her kill a pregnant girl and steal her baby. Desiree, out of shock, said no to her mother, and out of curiosity and fear, she also told her then boyfriend what her mother had told her, and the boyfriend threatened to call the police if such happened. The day Marlene visited Clarissa to get the baby stuffs, she met Clarissa, Desiree, and her boyfriend at home.
According to Desiree's boyfriend, he said that he noticed that Clarissa and Desiree were acting weird and nervous around Marlene, that they would excuse themselves and go out to talk in private. He said that this really got him worried, so he called his girlfriend aside and reminded her of his threat to call the cops if anything happened to Marlene. But she reassured him, saying that nothing will happen to Marlene, that what she told him earlier was just an April Fool's Day's joke. Marlene, not knowing what was going on, collected the baby stuffs and left. On 23rd April 2019, Marlene was in school when Clarissa sent her a message saying she had some more baby's clothes and a stroller to give her. Excitedly, Marlene agreed and promised to drop by her house to collect the items before going to the daycare to pick her son. The next day, Marlene was seen leaving the school premises. She drove over to Clarissa's house and was never seen again. As the day went by, Giovanni became worried after he received a call from the daycare, telling him his wife had not come to pick their son. He was worried because Marlene has never done something like this before. So he called some family and friends asking if they have seen Marlene, but they all said no. Some family members even assumed that maybe Marlene went into labor early and checked into a hotel.
so she wasn't able to call them. So they called all the hospitals around, but none have seen Marlene. They all became worried. Even Marlene's family became suspicious of Giovanni, thinking maybe he has done something bad to her and was just pretending. This really offended Giovanni and made him break down in tears. Giovanni went over to the police station and filed a missing persons report of his wife. And while at the police station, he also took a polygraph test, which is a lie detection test, to prove he did nothing to his wife. Police told Giovanni to go home and wait because they will only start investigation after 72 hours has passed. And not willing to wait that long, the family decided to hire a private investigator who discovered that Marlene joined a Facebook group and met a woman called Clarissa, and they started talking, and she had even visited her once. They took this report to the police, who visited Clarissa's house where they met her daughter Desiree. She told them that her mother was in the hospital to treat the injury she caused in her leg and that she just delivered a baby. Investigators looked around and found Marlene's car parked a few blocks from Clarissa's house, so they decided to visit Clarissa at the hospital and question her. But she denied, saying she had only met Marlene once in the past. The investigators were suspicious, so they collected Clarissa's DNA, the baby's own and that of Giovanni. The result came out and revealed that the baby wasn't Clarissa's baby, and that the baby's DNA matched Giovanni's own, so Giovanni is the father. So they immediately issued a search warrant on Clarissa's house, where detectives discovered bleach and cleaning solutions and some burnt clothes and red stains on the floor. They later found Marlene's body hidden in a trash can in the backyard, along with the cable used to strangle her. A medical examination determined that she had died of strangulation. Desiree, upon questioning, revealed that she helped her mother kill the pregnant teen. She said on that day that Marlene came to their home. She made her sit on the couch and distracted her with a photo album, while her mother Clarissa snuck up behind her and wrapped a cable around her neck. The same Marlene managed to place her finger between the cable and the neck, but she pulled her hands out. She said that Clarissa pulled the cable until Marlene's body became limp, so she took a knife and cut Marlene's stomach open and pulled the baby out, and then disposed her body in the trash can. Clarissa then called 911 to report that she had just given birth but the baby wasn't breathing. The paramedics arrived and took them to the hospital. At the hospital, the doctor said they noticed that there was no sign that Clarissa had given birth. Giovanni and Marlene's family were completely devastated after they learned what happened to her. He said he can't believe what happened to her, and the family asked for justice for Marlene. Unfortunately, Marlene's baby died 2 months later. On May 15, Clarissa and her daughter were arrested and charged with first-degree homicide, kidnapping and aggravated assault. Clarissa's boyfriend Peter, who helped conceal the crime, was also charged with concealing and homicide. They all pleaded not guilty to the charges, where they are held in prison awaiting trial.